from LP Savani Riverside School, Krupali Home. Standard and chapter number 3, Metals and Non-Metals. By the name of this chapter, we can conclude that what is the content of this chapter? Metals. Copper, zinc, iron, these all are the metals, and carbon, nitrogen, these all are non-metals. We know it. But how can you conclude that which unknown substance is metal or non-metal? To conclude it, you have to know some property of this particular names. Let's start our chapter with the introduction. In class 9, you have learned about various elements. You have seen that elements can be classified as metal or non-metal. On the basis of their properties, these think of some uses of metal and non-metals in your daily life. What properties did you think of while categorizing elements as metal or non-metals? On the basis of which properties you are classifying the substance into metal and non-metal group? How are these properties related to use of these elements? Let's look at some of the properties in detail. 3.1 Physical properties. We are looking for physical properties of metal first. 3.1.1 Metals. The easiest way to start grouping substance is by comparing their physical properties. Let's study this with the help of the following activities. Which kind of activities? See, for performing activities 3.1 to 3.6, collect the samples of following metals. Which are the metals? Iron, copper, aluminium. Iron and aluminium will be easily available at your home. Magnesium, sodium, lead, zinc, and any other metal that is easily available. If you are going to dealing with the sodium metal, just be away from the water. It will be blast on the reaction of water and sodium. Activity number 3.1. Take sample of these all metals mentioned earlier. Note the appearance of this sample. It means what is the appearance of metal. You have to just make a point-wise note. Clean the surface of each sample by rubbing them with sandpaper and note their appearance again. Are they been clean after rubbing with the sandpaper or not? Not your appearance again. Now conclude something about on the both conclusion. Metals in their pure state have the shining surface. This property is called metallic luster. Metal have property named metallic luster. Now what do you mean by metallic luster? It is having shining surface on its pure state and it is known as metallic luster. Suppose you are rubbing the sandpaper on the iron piece, it will be shiny by the rubbing, and it is the property of metal called metallic luster. Activity number 3.2. Take a small pieces of iron, copper, aluminium and magnesium. Try to cut this metal with a sharp knife and note your observation. Will you be able to cut the metals with a sharp knife? Definitely no. It means metal have hard surface. Hold a piece of sodium metal with a pair of tongues. Caution: always handle sodium metal with care. Dry it by pressing between the folds of a filter paper. Use the sodium metal with a very dry condition. There will be no the presence of water particles, even little amount. Put it on the watch glass and try to cut it with a knife. What do you observe? Will you able to cut the metal with the help of sharp knife? Definitely no. You will find that metals are generally hard. It is the second property. First property is metallic luster. Write down it in your book. First property is metallic luster and second property is it is very hard. The hardness varies from metal to metal. Yes, it's possible some metal is more harder than another and some are softer than another. But in general, we can say that metals are generally hard. Next activity, activity number 3.3. Take piece of these metals, iron, zinc, lead and copper. Place any one metal on block of iron and strike it 4 or 5 times with a hammer. What do you observe? When you are striking any of the metal with the hammer, what will you have to observe? Repeat with other metals. Record the change in shape of this metal. You will find that there will be changes in the shape and in the state of condition. You will find that some metals can be beaten into thin sheets. You can able to make sheets, thin sheets of the metal. Suppose aluminium is the one of metal, and you are able to buy the aluminium foil sheets from the market. It means that is the conversion of aluminium metal into the sheets. It means metal have property to beaten into the thin sheets. This property is called malleability. It is called malleability. First property is metallic luster, second one is metal is generally hard, and third one is having property of beaten into the thin sheet, and it is called malleability. Did you know that gold and silver are the most malleable metals, and most purpose of these two metal, gold and silver, is the making of the ornaments? Yes. Next activity, list the metal whose wire you have seen in daily life. The major wires are made up of the copper because it's a very good conductor of the electricity. The ability of metals to be drawn into this wire is called ductility. It means ductility and malleability both are different from each other. Malleability means beaten into the sheets, and ductility means drawn into thin wires. Thin sheets means malleability, and the thin wire means ductility. Gold is the most ductile metal, and gold is the most malleability property having metal. You will be surprised to know that wire of about 2 kilometer length can be drawn from 1 gram of gold. It means 1 gram of gold can, if you are converting into the wire, then it will be of 2 kilometer long. It's because of the malleability and the ductility that metals can be given different shapes accordingly to our needs. Can you name some metals that are used for making cooking vessels? Or do you know why these metals are used for making vessels? Let's do the following activity to find out the answer why we are using that. Take a aluminium or copper wire. Clamp this wire on a stand as shown in figure. You can see figure right here. Fix a pin to the free end of the wire using a wax. Heat the wire with a spirit lamp, candle, or a burner near the place where it is clamped. What do you observe after some time? Note your observation. Does the metal wire melt? What you have to do is, it is the metal wire stand, and it is the clamp for standing the metal wire. Free end of the wire this side, and here is the pin, and this one is the wax. You have to burn it with the help of burner, and at the last you have to observe your observations. The above activity shows that metals are good conductor of heat and have a high melting point. The best conductors of heat are silver and copper. The best conductor is silver and copper. We are generally used copper wires in the conductivity of electricity. We are not using the silver because it is too much costly, and copper is easily available than the silver and best conductor too. That's why we are using copper wires. Lead and mercury are comparatively poor conductors of heat. If you are asking for poor conductor example of the heat, then you have to answer lead and mercury. Do metals also conduct electricity? Let's find out. What you did in this experiment is, you just take a metal and then after put here a wax. Your flame will not affect the metal at all, but wax will be melting out. It means wax will be melting out first, and then after it will heat the metal. The output is metal have high melting point. They are not melt on the low heat temperature. This is our next activity. We need battery, bulb, switch, and here is the clips. Insert the sample to be tested. It is our testing circuit. You already learned about this in the earlier standard. You are learning the 7th standard. What will happen? Suppose here you are putting your pencil. Such a way your graphite of the pencil will attach to both the wires, or in place of pencil you are using here one iron nail. Then your bulb will be glow if your switch is off, because this iron nail is the good conductor of the electricity. And suppose your bulb will not glow even if your switch is on, then it means whatever the thing you putting here will be the poor conductor of the electricity, or you can say the inhibitor. Let's see. Set up the electric circuit as shown in this figure. Place the metal to be tested in the circuit between terminals A and B as shown here. You have to place your sample between these two terminals A and B. Does the bulb glow? What does it indicate? You must have seen that the wires that carry current in your homes have a coating of polyvinyl chloride. It is the PVC. Full form of the PVC is polyvinyl chloride. Or a rubber like a material. The wire in your home running is not open. They have protecting layer of the rubber like material or the PVC, polyvinyl chloride. Why are the electric wires coated with such substance? Because this coated substance is the inhibitor of the electricity, and somehow you are getting direct contact with that wire, then you will not get hurt. That's why that protective layer is the provided. What happens when metal strikes a hard surface? Do they produce a sound? Yes, it is the next property of the metal. Metal produces the sound when it strikes with the hard surface. Just take example of your school bell. The metals that produce a sound on striking a hard surface are said to be sonorous. It is known as sonorous. It is the next property of the metal which says that strike on a hard surface will be produce the sound. Can you now say why school bells are made of metals? Because it will form a large sound.